Hello, this is DonnieRockett with a video for you from the Dallas Karting Complex in Caddo Mills, Texas, which is a facility about 45 minutes away from downtown Dallas, heading northeast on Interstate 30. The first driver in this video is one of my nephews, Dennis. He's the older of my two nephews. They're both brothers. They both live in Fort Worth, or actually they both live in downtown Dallas, so not too far away. I was in town on a business trip, so I hit these guys up. They both live in downtown Dallas, and they were game for hitting the go-kart track. So that's Dennis coming up on his brother Kevin right there, and I just zigzag through the middle of them. Gonna head up and then pull over and try to get a little video footage of them passing me by, so I can make it all look cool later on in this video. Anyways, this is the first time out for these two guys. That's Kevin, aka Denim Danger, in the 29, and Dennis 69 is driving the 22. This is their first laps around a go-kart track that I'm aware of. It's a pretty big track. Lap times can pretty much range from, I guess if you're good, you might be running the 71s or 70s if you're a lightweight guy. And then, you could be running all the way up into the 80s, I think, if you're being kind of cautious. That's me in the 17, I think is what I'm in. So anyways, this is Dennis's first lap. So the way I did the video is I did basically his first lap of this first race, and then I'll probably cut away after he finishes his first lap, and we'll see one of the last laps where he's kind of smoothed out of his first race. And by the third race, both Kevin and Dennis were doing pretty good. I think Dennis's fast time for the day out of the three races that we did was Dennis got a 76.235 second lap as his fastest. The pricing at this place, if you've never been there before, is they've got package deals. I forget all the packages, but you can kind of gauge it from the one we got. We got the 3-race package, which is $60. You have to buy $5 worth of daily insurance, and once you throw tax on all that, it ended up being about $69 and some odd cents to get 3 races in. The races are 10 minutes. The only issue I have with kind of the way that went down is that if there are a lot of people in this race, which I think we had potentially, 15 or 16 karts in this race. If you are towards the last people getting out of the driving, out of the pit area, you are probably not going to get in as many laps as the first guy out. Just because if they have any issues with one of the 18 karts coming out, and that cart is like halfway through the pack and you're at the back, you get to sit there while they try to get that one go-kart running. And I think once that first cart goes out there, time starts a-ticking. You might still get about 10 minutes because I think it's 10-minute races, but whoever that first guy is going to end up throwing some extra laps down. I think of the 3 races that I did, I only got 7 laps in at the max, and in one of my races I only got 6 laps in, but I was averaging right around 74 second laps. Alright, that was the end of Dennis's race, and he didn't do too bad out here. Now this is the second race overall from the two of us, so Denim Danger, also known as Kevin to the rest of us, they let him go out first because he might have gone out last at the first race. So Kevin's a little warmed up for the track. He's probably remembered the layout to some degree right now. Kevin seemed to drive pretty smooth. Weight-wise, Kevin's he's a big dude, so he's a little on the heavier side. I think he's up around 260, so he's not going to have that acceleration in the straightaways some of these 120-pound guys are going to have. And actually, in some of the later footage, Dennis is right in front of me, but Dennis is around 170 pounds. I'm around 200 with all my clothes on. and he kind of starts to pull on me in the straightaways. The three race package seemed to be a pretty good deal to me. In comparison, you could pay that at an indoor track somewhere and race for a whopping 12-13 minutes altogether. I forget which version of Sodi kart this is, but it's one of the ones that you typically see out there. But it's a Sodi gas-powered kart. I've seen some telemetry on some other videos from the Dallas Karting Complex, and really I think about the fastest you're going to actually get on this track is at the end of this big long straightaway. I think we have to go a little bit. I think he's approaching it. I think after this turn here, yeah, he's going to hit the big straightaway. And I think at the end of this you can get around 50-51 miles an hour at the end of this straightaway. Just from some of the telemetry I've seen from other guys that are running pretty good times on it. So I think this is later in the race for Denim Danger. He got a little squirrely right there, but he kept it in control. I think Kevin, his fastest time for the 3 races was the 78.118. So not too bad. One thing about this track is there's, at least when we were out there, there were kind of 3 different level karts. They had one tandem kart out there that had 2 people in it. I don't think it was probably quite as fast as the karts that the majority of the adults were in. Then they have their cadet karts, which seemed to be a little slower. It definitely sounded different when you got around them. I don't know what model they were, but I have a feeling that when you see somebody with a big red helmet on, those are the cadet karts. Because it was usually a younger driver in them, and I went screaming past them almost, pretty fast a couple of times. But the track is pretty big, so there's plenty of room for passing. So it's not too hard having, various speed level karts out there. You just have to, use the track to get around them. I have been to this track about 4 years ago, and they have changed the layout somewhat since my previous visit. I'll explain a little bit later in the video, but this is my footage from the very first race. So I'm driving. I pulled out in front of Kevin and Dennis, and I kind of just pulled off to the side, let them get in front of me. I'd watched a decent amount of videos, so I still kind of remembered the layout for the most part. I think there's some other guys out there that have been there a few times. I've shout out to Illegal Alien Racing. I've watched some of his videos, and Lone Wolf 1. I've refreshed my memory by watching those guys' videos. So that's Dennis right there with the yellow shirt on, getting a little squirrely, testing out those rear brakes and seeing how good the turning radius is on these things. I pulled back over so I can get them zooming past me. It does actually look pretty cool. I probably should have kept looking at him a little bit longer. That guy ended up being pretty fast right there, following them. He was light. Towards the end of the day, I think he started getting the line down. For me, I'm trying to take a much wider line. Like I said, I'm around 200 pounds, and if I go tight and scrub off my speed and then have to count on acceleration to get me back up, the little guys usually demolish me. So I'm trying to kind of keep it wide, keep my speed up. Like I said, this guy's pretty light, and he was getting better as the day progressed. There's Dennis. I already passed Kevin a little whiles back. It was a little bumpy. At least with the line I was taking, I don't know if it helps my speed out or not. I only got passed by like 1 or 2 people. And so I was never able to really get right back on them because they just pulled away from me on the straightaways. But I think in this clip, a guy comes by in a cart, and he got away from me, but I started reeling him back in, and I think on the last, like, that girl, I think it's a girl, but she did not know I was out there, so I had to get off the gas to keep from spinning her out, and she actually did a pretty good job of not losing it and driving off into the grass for, I'm guessing that she's fairly inexperienced. And then I take a nice little trip through the grass up here. I realize I'm going to get pinched out right here, and I'm like, oh, they don't know I'm there. And man, it went right through the grass pretty smooth right there, so that was kind of fun. I wanted to make sure I kept that footage in. And that was Kevin. I don't know what happened there, but he spun out, and I have absolutely no idea what I yelled at him. But hey, I had to yell something. Here's that guy from an earlier race. He's in a different cart, I think. Yeah, this is my second race. I actually got my best time during this race. My fastest time was a 73.5. Can't say I was super jacked about it, but there was one guy in the first race who'd been here. I looked up the history of the race and looked at the drivers. He's been here a decent amount of times, and he was considerably skinnier than I was, and he smoked me by about a half a second, and I was able to hang behind him for a little while, and every now and then kind of catch, if we hit traffic, I'd start to close back in on him, but once we gapped out and he got away from the traffic, he'd start to spread it out on the straightaways from me. Yeah, this guy right here, he pulled away from me, and then I started kind of closing back up on him, and then last lap he spun out. I'm pretty sure I saw him in the grass. I didn't leave all that footage in here. I'd have a 2-hour-long video because each of these laps, like I said, or each of these races is going to be about 10 minutes, and I took video from 3 of them. And see, there's that guy. He's back. He's definitely figuring it out, and like I said, he's kind of light, so he kind of gets that advantage in the straightaways. But he's still a little more tentative. He could probably smash me once he gets a little bit better at the track, because right up here he lets off the gas going around this right-hander right here, and you don't really need to. And I came way up on him and just decided not to really lift. Thought I could duck under him, and I did, so kind of banged into him, but again, like I said, he just pulls right back up on me. But I get in front of him, stay in front of him. But I think at the end of this race, he still ended up having one lap with a better lap time than my best lap time. But I was able to to gap him up pretty good right now. Anyways, when it comes to fun factor, this is a pretty fun track. Like I said, a little bit bouncy in places. But, who knows, if I was to get out there and race with some of the lead guys, they might show me a different line that keeps me out of the bumps and maybe picks up my speed a little bit. Because right now, like I said, I'm not following anybody who's really, really fast, or that I can even hang with. They either blow right past me or I blow right past them. Yeah, I don't know if that was the right way around that corner, but that's what I was doing. That guy's shake and baked. I just put it in there just for the heck of it. And in all actuality, I thought that was one of my nephews. I forgot what color their shirts were. So I don't know if I tapped that guy or not, but he looked over his left shoulder and I went around on the right, and then I laughed at him because I thought it was my nephew, and then I don't think it was my nephew. Sorry, dude, if you see the video. He was probably confused. They do have league nights there, and they run other types of karts. You can also, there's some kind of qualification criteria, I believe. What it is, I don't know, but you can check it out on their website. If you achieve a certain lap speed, I think they will give you the clearance to rent a grade up or a faster go-kart on this track. And I've seen a comparison video, and they'll run about, I think about maybe, it seemed like it was like 9 to 11 second faster laps. So that's cooking. So, you're doing about a minute lap instead of a, 70 second lap or 71 second lap. But I think I'm not so sure it's that cheap. I think it costs a decent chunk more to go in that faster go-kart. Again, one of those skinny people closing up on me, but I was able to get in front of them. I think they braked sooner than I did, so I could cut across the front. I think that might have been, I think I tapped the barrier right there. That was the one time. So like I said, this is my second time out. Oh, I didn't explain it, and I have, let's see, I've got about a minute. When you come down this main straightaway, there used to be, and you can see it, a chicane or whatever you call them up here. Let me see if we can get to it before the video ends. We may not. But that really, really long straightaway used to be broken up in the middle. Oh, okay, that's Dennis right there. I just gave Dennis a love tap. And he's going to pull away from me right here. So right coming up here, you used to have to cut off to the left right there. And then you would come back in right where those barriers are. And that would kind of break up the flow of that long straightaway. Oh, there's Kevin, or Dennis, got the freeze frame right there. So anyways, that's the end of it. I think I covered pretty much all you might need to know, or gave you thoughts on what you need to look up. So watch for some more videos. I'm out.